Three, look out now. The sideline, forget about it. This baby's over.
Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
And most especially in 310 days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on the football field.
Another block. One more, he's gone. Touchdown, no flag.
Samuel cuts it back. Ohio State wins.
Here's the run again. Donovan Edwards. Whoa, can they catch him? No, Donovan Edwards again. The down.
Alrighty, welcome back, everybody, to the Scarlet and Blue Show. We're back, and you may notice we look a little bit different this week, and that is because this week is Big Ten Media Days, baby. So look the part, dress the part, feel the part. We're here. Garrison, how we doing, baby?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine, Bryce. I will say this Big Ten Media Day, you look more like you're going to the Big 12 Media Days, but you look good, buddy. You look real good right now. So I like it. But
I'm ready for some of those Texas schools to join the conference in a few years. This is a preemptive inclusionary move. But we're fired up. Garrison, I don't know about you, but I feel like Media Day is the first taste of the college football season. Media Day is that, it's the end of July, and we all know once we get to August, football season's here. It's coming, right? Spring camps, fall camp's about to start. But Media Day seems to kind of get the juices flowing and really kick things off.
Yeah, man. It's a time to actually you get to hear what's been going on in camp, what's been going on inside the building. A lot of places, some of us don't get to go. Hopefully, you don't hear too much coach talk, but you get to hear what your coaches feel about how they feel about the team. You get to hear from some of the main players on the team and see how they feel going into the season. And I'm really excited, man. There's a lot of guys on the list that are going to talk for the Buckeyes, and I'm really excited to hear what they have to say. I am.
It's gonna be really fun. SEC Media Days were last week. I know that other conferences have already had a few of those, and of course we're gonna end things off with the Big Ten. Believe it or not, the Scarlet and Blue Show, Garrison and I did not get credentials this year. We hope next year, maybe we will, but we're going to assume all our questions and discussions will be virtually sent in to them this week.
I'll try and get a hold of Gene Smith, man. He owes me a favor, I think so. No.
I think so. That's got to be the case. So Media Days, Wednesday, Thursday, down in Indy. If I look correctly, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, Northwestern, Ohio State, Penn State, and Rutgers will be on Wednesday. Then the big dogs come out on Thursday: Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, Purdue, and Wisconsin will be enjoying the show on Thursday as well. So it's gonna be exciting. Buckeyes are sending down their vanilla bread coach with Marvin Harrison Jr., Cade Stover, and JT. Garrison, how do you say his last name? I can't even.
Tuimoloau.
Okay. And why is he going? I guess here's the thing. I was looking at his name today and I thought to myself, he's a junior. I know he's not a senior. Oftentimes, seniors go to Media Day. Is this just a telltale sign that he's not coming back next year?
I mean, Marvin's a junior also.
Yeah, we know Marvin's not coming back.
No, I mean, JTT, I don't think he's coming back, man. If he does, I'll be happy, but I won't be happy for him because that means he probably didn't have the best season. But I think, for both kids, their junior years when I think they should not peak, but where they should hit their stride. I think this is the year he's going to do it, and he should be gone by as of this year. I think our whole D line is going to be gone after this year, if I'm being honest. So
the matchup between Michigan's O line and the Buckeyes D line is going to be special in November.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, there's so much talent on both sides, and it's going to be awesome. But we got plenty of time to get there. Michigan sending Blake the Great Corum, Chris the Mutant Jenkins, and Mikey Sanders still. As going along with the man himself, Jim Harbaugh, and they'll be on the podiums and doing interviews Thursday. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, right? This is where I would say the real football fans come out, but then also, everyone's writing about this because everybody is excited to get back to football. Yeah. Hard Knocks is coming around the corner too, and that's another one of those like first tastes into the college or to the football season. And then preseason starts, and then week 0. It's beautiful. The juices are already flowing. I'm so
I can't
excited.
wait for week 0, man. It starts off right too.
All right. Lots of questions to ask, lots to talk about. Again, a lot of people kind of writing about the questions going into Big Ten Media Day. But as the experts of our individual teams and the voices of our programs here, Garrison, what type of questions do you have? Are you asking as we go into the media days and then the season for your Buckeyes?
So I have a few. For Ryan Day, what I would have to question him about is I just want to know what Joe Philbin's impact has been on the team. For people that don't know, Joe Philbin, the NFL guy, head coach in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins, used to be Brian Hartline's signal caller over there, coach. He also was an O-line coach, which is nice to have with Justin Fry as who's our O-line, who's our offensive line coach. And I really want to know what his impact has been for us. I hope that it helps our tackles specifically, and I would like to know what that means for our run game. Another question I would have for Ryan Day is just what's the plan for the secondary? And because there's a lot of guys back there who I believe want to get on the field. We got Ignosum, Proctor, Burke, Martinez, Ransom, Sonny Style. It's a lot of guys out there, man. Jordan Hancock. I want to know if what the rotation is going to be and how they're going to choose when they put the guys in. That's another thing I would like to know. For other guys like Marv, I would like to know what are you excited about? Like in terms of being on the slot, what about the slot will be different for you as a receiver? And then for like JTT, just what are the expectations for the defensive line this year? Like what kind of stats do you guys want? How many pressures do you guys want? Do you guys want to be able to do you think you'll be able to blitz less this year because you guys can get the pressure? So things like that are who I care about to ask. How about you, Bryce?
No, that's good. That's good. I think, yeah, just from the Bucs perspective, right there, a lot of those that I thought the same thing. Yeah, Joe Philbin's an interesting hire. It's never a bad hire, right? Because that's a seasoned NFL veteran, former head coach. So that's going to be a good hire for the Bucs. The questions that so I looked up a few of them, kind of wanted to see what the voice of the Buckeyes were saying. And I thought one of the interesting ones that I hope Marv gets asked is, can he win the Heisman? I think that's a fun one to ask. Let's a good conversation start. The other ones are just the obvious ones. Who's going to be starting quarterback, which if you want the answer to that, go to our episode last week. We'll link it in the bio for sure. But the starting quarterback conversation is going to be, we want to see. And then too, the O-line is another one. I mean, you guys lost some talent from last year. And you would think it's rinse and repeat, lock and reload. There we go. Lock and reload for the Buckeyes as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be some different faces on that team. And I think when, the great JJ McCarthy carves you guys up in Columbus, it's like you guys got to start from square one. You're still at it. You're still at it on Twitter. It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I broke down every single pass. It's just me being someone who knows football. I apologize for those who don't.
Yeah. No, those are good, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. I'm sure Ryan Day will give some vanilla bread answer that has no clicks, no engagement. It's gonna be not helpful and something to look forward to there. So then we go across, go to the other team, go to the next day, and we go to Michigan, and I think some of the glaring questions that we're gonna have, or that at least will be asked of us, will be who's gonna be the opposite corner of Will Johnson. He I think shared with some media last week just about a few of the names, one being the transfer from Massachusetts. Amarion Walker is another one where the wide receiver converted defense back. He could be someone who comes in and takes his place. But CB2 is going to be an interesting topic of conversation over the next couple of days. Who's going to be off on the other side when Michigan lost DJ Turner and Jamon Green last year. So it's going to be interesting there. I think other questions that will be kind of addressed, and I'm thinking about the guys in the room, are with Blake, right, and Donovan Edwards coming on at the end of the year. How are they going to split those reps? I think Blake Corum plans to be back 100% come week 1. But those reps are going to have to be split. And then if they're not split, like how else are we going to find a ways to get Donovan back, involved in the offense? He's too talented not to be on the field. So I'm excited to see kind of what comes out of that. Cause I don't think we'll like Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh is not going to share much either. He's obviously not going to share their schemes and offensive game plans. So it's going to be interesting to see. What about you? Anything for the Wolverines?
No, just like you, CB2, I do want to know about that because the transfer, I think he'll be fine from UMass. I did just joking with a few Michigan fans. I once asked, does it bother you guys at all that he comes from Don Brown's system? But he seems like a really good player. Marion Walker is a wild card, really good athlete, of course. But I am interested to see if he can play the position. It's because it's a very an athlete can play corner, but if you don't have the hips for it, the footwork for it, you get toasted up by guys like O'Leary. So if that is that his name? Is that a guy?
O'Leary. He's coming on, baby. You watch out for 81. He's coming on this year.
He looks like a good South Christian wide receiver, man.
Cooper Kupp, like same athlete right there.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But then also if I had a question for the defense, I would actually I'm sorry, for the offense. I would ask about the running back position, not because it's a worry. I actually would love to know, just like you, what's going to be the splits, and I actually would love to know if Donnie's going to get on the field as a wide receiver while Blake is in. That is something I really would like to know. And as a football fan, I want to see it. I think he's the best offensive weapon on your team. He's probably the most versatile offensive weapon in the Big Ten, maybe the country.
High praise. Yep. Wouldn't disagree.
I think very highly of him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. He can be used everywhere. At the end of the 2021 season, they got him more involved in the pass offense, which is a ton of fun to watch. Highlights from the Maryland game where I think he had a wheel route for a touchdown. And then, of course, in the Big Ten championship game where he had the halfback pass from Wilson. That was, stuff like that where the creativity comes in with him. And he's not even creativity, just getting him out in open space is what you want to see. I say the other headline too, Garrison, I would also add is what's the receiver play going to be like? So we lost Ronnie Bell to the Niners this year, but then you bring Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson back. And with that, though, you have some really young talent that I really like. So Darius Clemens, I believe he's a sophomore this year. And then you got Tyler Morris, the kid from Illinois, also coming on. And they got some reps and some minutes last year. I think Morris had a few big catches in the Rutgers game. So there's some wide receiver talent. And if my theory, my projection will be true about JJ this year, it's going to be that he's going to have a big year. In order for quarterbacks to have a big year, you got to be able to spread the ball around. Look at CJ last year, just spreading the ball around to Marvin, to Iboka, to Fleming, to all those guys. Like there's just talent all over the place. And JJ is going to do something similar or try to be a high producing quarterback through the air. You have to have multiple weapons. And I think we've got some really solid tight ends. AJ Barner coming in from Indiana. Then you obviously already have Colson Loveland too, the sophomore coming back. And so I'm really excited to see what creativity Sherrone Moore comes up with in the pass game this year, and Jim Harbaugh for that matter too. Just with the talented quarterback and all of these younger weapons that will hopefully mix in with these veteran receivers.
Oh yeah, and there's much to be desired with the Michigan wide receiver room. Sometimes I don't know if it's JJ. I don't know if it's them. I don't know if it's coaching. I'm blanking right now. Who is your wide receivers coach?
Wide receiver Ron Bellamy.
Thank you, Ron Bellamy. Oh, I knew that. But yeah, man, and also just to piggyback off what you're talking about, we talk about the wide receivers. Just bring it to Ohio State for a second. I really want to know who wide receiver 3 is. Ryan Day's offense to me is a 3 wide receiver scheme. And it evolves around whoever the slot is. Emeka should be in the slot. But the problem is that we need to find another guy on the outside, opposite of Marv. Now that could be Jaden Ballard. That could be if Julian Fleming finally puts it all together. Carnell Tate, very talented freshman. But I really want to know because I think that the offense struggles sometimes when it doesn't have that third guy. And as crazy as that sounds, that we need 3 talented wide receivers in that position. I just think that, like, I think, like, for Michigan's offense, I believe it needs really talented offensive line play. I feel the same for us when it comes to wide receivers. So that's another question I would have for them. I do want to know how the wide receiver unit is doing because I think if Julian doesn't pan out, and I don't know what's going on with Jaden Ballard, I think Carnell Tate's going to take that spot. I think he can pretty early if he plays well early. So.
Who stepped into the wide receiver 3 role last year? Because obviously JSN was out.
It was Julian. He had just over 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. It was a very heavy Marvin and Emeka offense. Now we passed the ball less this year. I could be wrong. I think I might be wrong, just barely wrong. This year, CJ threw, I believe, like 389 passes. The year before, he had about 440 some. So, but I mean, that's when we had JSN, Chris, and Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2021. Obviously, wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 were interchangeable.
Exactly, and I think Chris was just under 1,000 yards. Otherwise, all 3 of them would have hit it. So yeah, it's I really want to know who that their wide receiver is this year. Because I think it means a lot for us for our success. It means a lot, especially with a new quarterback.
Yeah, that's a great question to ask. And it feels like Fleming would be the guy, but you never know who's going to come on. And it's gonna be fun. What about you? Got any questions for Jim? Because I have a question for Ryan Day.
Yes, I do have questions for Jim.
All right, go ahead. I'm sure this will be really not condescending at all.
Oh no! See, no, I mean, what can I say to the guy right now, Bryce? He's the guy's a 2-time Big Ten champ. I'm not supposed to say to the guy, but I would actually love to know the quarterback play behind JJ. I would actually know who the second guy is. I think that's very important, just in case anything was to happen to him, and I hope nothing ever does to him. Hope he has a healthy career. I would also love to know. This goes back to the receivers. Kinda. Do they plan on putting Loveland out at wide receiver? I would actually love to know that. I think he's
like a Devin Funchess.
Yeah, something kind of like that. I don't think he's nearly as good as Funchess, but I won't say nearly, but I think he's talented just like him. You know, how they go about that, how many dual tight end sets will they run? Because I don't think Loveland's that good of a blocker, but he's a very talented wide receiver. So I would love to know if they ever split him out into the slot a little bit to I guess you could say to kind of make up for what they lack at wide receiver. You know, I don't have any questions for Jim because when you bring back 80+% of your production from the year before, you bring back basically your whole team. I think we know what we know about Michigan right now.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. The
only question is the passing game.
Yeah, I would. You mentioned the lack of talent receiver. I don't know if I would say that. There's plenty of talent in that room. So I'm going to stand up for my boys here. So then for me and Coach Vanilla Bread, I would say, I won't be disrespectful to your coach, Coach Day. I'll be a little disrespectful. What my question would be to him is, how is he going to be able to give up play calling? I think that's going to be huge. He's the head coach, so he'll have influence in the offense, and I'm sure he'll be confirming or rejecting certain play calls at certain times. But y'all should have won a national championship last year if it wasn't for him. So how is he going to give this up this year?
I don't think he's going to the full extent. I mean, I think it's kind of like Bryce when you guys brought on. Actually, no, I'll use Sharon Moore for example. Sharon Moore is not going to be making every single play call. Trust me, believe me, Jim's still gonna be making play calls. I think what it more has to do with is the final say. I think that, man, Bryce, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if he's gonna give a play call. I'm trying to shoot my man, I'm trying to bail my man out on this. But what I hope for is that he stays by his word. He lets Hartline call some of the plays. I think if it comes down to a close game, he's pulling the plug. Like I think, say if we're in a game like let's say first week against Indiana, first week, let's say it gets a little nip and tuck, and we're struggling out there on offense. I think he says, okay, hand me the playbook, go talk to the wide receivers. Because at the end of the day, the offense is his baby. Yeah. But I think it's very important that he allows Brian, kind of like what he's going through in his own coaching career, let him go to the growing pains as a coordinator and calling plays. He should allow him to do that. So we'll see, Bryce.
No, it's yeah.
No, he needs to play calling. He needs to. There's other things on the team that he needs to be focusing on. He needs to be a CEO, not a
quarterback. Bingo. Yep. Head coach. Yeah. So it'll be fun, man. I mean, I think there's the fun part of media days is you get to attack the questions head on with it when it comes to replacing certain coaches, replacing certain players, who's going to be able to step in. And that's obviously beyond just Michigan, Ohio State. That's every team in every conference. And again, right, like it's the first taste of the college football season. So we're not talking just about the spring and a lot can still change with the transfer portal and people coming in and out. Like we're here. The football season's about to start.
Hey, man, we're down the street, man. We're down the street. I can't wait.
One other thing too, I'd love to ask the new commissioner now that Kevin Warren's gone, and his name's what? Tony Petitti, however you say his name. I would love to ask him what the growth plan is for the Big Ten. Right. I've seen rumors about Oregon coming. I've seen rumors about Washington. You see Notre Dame. You see some ACC schools coming in. Yeah. Are we going to get the Maryland and the Rutgers type quality? Are we going to be able to bring in the power players, the Pac-12? You snag some teams down south so I can justify wearing this cowboy hat.
I would love to snag Missouri.
You want to snag Missouri? Why would you want Missouri?
It's technically the Midwest.
Yeah, it feels like they don't offer us much.
They don't.
But there's talent down there. You're right. That's not a bad one.
There's guys like you got Christian Brothers in St. Louis. That's a high school. A lot of guys come out of. So there's talent in Missouri.
Yep. Your boy Zeke came from there.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So it'll be fun. So yeah, we'll obviously be all up on the chatter for the media days. And yeah, I hope everyone tune in. Whoever's watching the show is probably tuning into media days news anyways, because only real college football sickos like us are paying attention to stuff. But we'll be sure to talk about it.
What else is there to watch? Come on.
Hey, what Garrison, you sent a tweet out just asking for more questions. Anything?
Yeah, man. Yeah. We have two people on here. One of them right here is Blake Stackpool. So he would love to hear from Domin Edwards and Ernest Hausman to see how they will be used this season. JJ as well, and to see how his offseason has been going. Ernest Hausman, he's the linebacker, correct? From Nebraska.
From Nebraska, yep.
I forgot all about freak athlete.
Oh yeah, we're excited about him.
Huh?
We're excited about him.
Yes, I would actually liken him to Donovan on defense. That's how I would say.
Okay.
Versatile. I think you could put him in. I think you could put him in a linebacker. I think you can put him on the edge if you really want to. He looks like he's very athletic, so he can cover. So no, I think he's He seems like he's gonna be a really good football player. He's young still.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this plenty of times with JJ in the offseason. That I think that's if he's gonna take that jump, I think it's gonna be solely because he had this offseason. Whereas last year he missed it, of course, as we all know. So
Yes.
what do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh, agreed. Yeah, the offseason with JJ is one thing, but then Ernest Hausman, yeah, he's another name that us Michigan fans are all super excited about. Really, I mean, that's another just topic too for all teams is the transfers that have gone and then the transfers that have came in. And Ernest Hausman is probably at the top of the list of the guys that we're excited about.
He was your highest ranked transfer, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was up there. There was a few.
he?
It all depends. You know how I'm with recruiting, but I know that they have transfer ratings now too.
Yeah, he was up there.
I think he's up near the top. Yeah, he's a 4-star transfer, which is just a weird thing for me to say. But then there are other guys too, like Josiah Stewart from Coastal Carolina, another just powerful linebacker, kind of very athletic on the edge. And we lost Mike Morris. So what guy can step in there and replace him? We lost Taylor Upshaw too. Last year he transferred to Colorado and then went to Arizona. And I only say that because who's replacing Mozzie Smith? Chris Jenkins will be there as well. So is he going to get the same amount of reps that Mozzie got, where he's playing the majority of the snaps? Or is it going to be by committee? And they're going to bring in other guys like Good and
I think Chris Jenkins is one of those guys you can't take him off the field.
That's what you hope for, right? I mean, he's that much of a mutant, much of a freak. That's what you hope for.
Exactly.
We just never know.
And so yeah, man. One more, man. From Blue Vereen, a guy we both know actually. Very good guy. He put a little different. Interested in the Penn State mindset coming into the season. Put this Ryan Day tip his hand as starting quarterback. Michigan's backup quarterback and CB2 situation updates as we went through. Is Travion fully healthy? I want to know that.
Great question.
I want to know that too. Will OSU play Sonny and CJ more this season? And then you put a little caveat: Aaron Scott visiting Michigan week of commitment.
Ooh, look at Lawson. Great.
Yeah, he gave us a lot. So I guess I'll stick on the Buckeye side of this, man. Yeah, I do want to know if Travion's fully healthy because as much flack as I give for this, I do believe that when Travion Henderson is healthy, I don't think there is a clear running back better than him in the nation. I think that kid is super talented, just through the roof. And the problem is that because of the situation that him and Dom Edwards were in coming out of high school, he gets compared, and he's of course he was injured last year. It's the same thing with what's going to happen with Cal McCord and J.J. McCarthy. He is stuck to the hip with him because of that situation. In terms of Ohio State not choosing you and choosing someone else, and so there's that. And when it comes to Sonny Styles and C.J. Hicks, Bryce, those guys need to be on the field. When you get the number one linebacker and the number one safety in a class, and thankfully they're out of the state of Ohio, you got to find a way to get those kids in the field more. And I think last year they tried to, but not enough, at least to my liking. But no, I think this year that'd be a great question to ask with how the development has been going for some of the younger guys on the team that are freshmen and sophomores now. Because we hear a lot about the guys on offense, the guys like Carnell Tate, Dallin Hayden, but we're not hearing about some of the guys on defense. So I would love to hear about that also.
That's a good point, Garrison, about being compared.
Yeah.
At the hip. And you're not a failure, but you could be a failure if you don't kind of answer the bell when it comes to competing against the other player.
Exactly. It's kind of the same situation, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are in, man. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a very good point. Just to kind of wrap all the media day talks, I'm going to talk about this for a while, so we didn't get our credentials, and I just came up with a list of all the questions I want to ask some of these coaches.
Let's hear it, buddy. Let's hear it.
Yep. So we're going to just spitfire through a lot of these. First one is, if I get Kirk Ferentz on the podium, Coach Ferentz, for you, looking at Michigan's roster this year, who do you like? Who do you see? Who do you plan on taking next year from the squad?
That's a good question.
Greg Schiano, I would just love to ask him, hey, with everything going on at Tennessee, how happy are you that the fans revolted against the university bringing you on? Now you don't have to deal with that whole mess down there. Brett Bielema, in 2015, after Arkansas beat Texas, you called it borderline erotic. I'm just curious, what would it take this year to cross that line into fully erotic? James Franklin, last year.
We don't have credentials.
James Franklin, last year at Rutgers, you ran the wing tee. I'm just curious, is that really the best fit for Drew Aller? I know we were talking about that. Feels like that offense is a little bit antiquated. Might not be the best fit. PJ Fleck, looking at your uniforms last year, it looked like you were woefully shy on the row the boat garb and paraphernalia. What can we see this year to increase that? He wears a tie every game. I think there'd be a great opportunity to put a four there. Tom Allen, not so much a question, more of just a thank you for ending Michigan State's bowl season dreams last year in just absolutely embarrassing fashion when your quarterback went 2 for 7, threw for 31 yards, and your offense was outgained 540 to 288. Not a question again, just more of a thank you, appreciation. David Braun, Northwestern's head coach. Just good luck, pal. Ryan Walter, the new Purdue coach, former DC at Illinois. Was Brett Bielema's behavior as inappropriate in the locker room as he was with the media? Just want to know. Just curious. Jim Harbaugh, just thanks for being you and not leaving for the NFL. Again, not a question, more of just thanks for being you.
They don't want him, but continue.
Matt Rule, I'm curious if he's gotten any advice from Scott Frost and if he's just rejecting all those phone calls. Second thing would be at Baylor, you wore, this is me talking to Coach Rule. At Baylor, you wore the smock, which is that ridiculous shirt with the hood on it, but no sleeves. I believe that was a Nike piece of equipment. Nebraska's Adidas school. Are there plans to come up with a similar piece of equipment? We got to know. Things didn't work out.
That's crucial to football.
Things didn't work out in Carolina. Didn't wear the smock. Makes you wonder. Got to ask the questions. This is what journalists do. Mel Tucker, have you found your next savior, your next Kenneth Walker on the roster this year? And if not, where do you want to coach next year? Luke Fickell, over the last 2 seasons in Cincinnati, you averaged 407 pass attempts. Is it frustrating to know that Wisconsin doesn't allow you to do that? And how does that affect your offense? Because they have to run the ball.
Yep.
Ryan Day. This is another question I would ask him. Bill Musillo, I believe is how I say his name. Musillo, the head baseball coach for the Ohio State University baseball team. He made some roster changes to his staff last year, especially with the hire of base running coach Damon Lessler. Is there anything you got from him just about base running and where to start from third base, how to get home? Anything from that? And last question I have for Mike Loxley, coach at Maryland. You brought on Josh Gaddis as your OC. Michigan fans know that there was a bit of a kerfuffle when Gaddis was at Michigan and they played Maryland. So I'm just curious, have you settled who will call plays and who will game plan? And that's a nod to the quote where Gaddis was like, Mike Loxley can say I watched him call every play, but ask him where those game plans usually come from. So I would like that to be addressed. That's all.
I would also love to ask Kirk Ferentz if it was my option. What would it take for you to fire your son?
Oh, that's a better question.
That's all I want to know, man.
That's it. Well, media days, they're coming. We'll be covering them. Excited to talk about them. All right. Well, again, media days, excited for them. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. So a couple things just to maybe wrap up here, Garrison. I think maybe one we'll start here is the Kingston Viliamu Asa. Again, apologies if I butchered that name. That was a recruit that the Buckeyes lost to Notre Dame. And the reason we bring this up is because the message boards were in absolute disarray on Bucknuts, which is just beautiful for me to see. And then I've seen a few different criticisms of Jim Knowles not being able to get the job done and having to send in Laurinaitis to clean up. I saw those names floating around. So you tell me what happened, and then tell me how you feel about losing out on a recruit like that.
First, I think any Ohio State fan that is going after Jim Knowles about this, they're idiots. Plain and simple. No way else to put it. If you look at Kingston's what he said, and it's a hard read, but because it's kind of choppy and all over the place. But his main reason was, I think he read Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1. I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, but what it had to do with was, sometimes what you can't see, and what God's trying to show you, you just kind of have to have faith in that. And that's what he believed led him to Notre Dame. He said he could not see himself there. It is known that he wanted to go to Ohio State or USC. His mom wanted him to go to Notre Dame. I think the kid, he made a decision that he thought, whether it be his parents or faith-based. Why are you getting mad at Jim Knowles for that? You want Jim Knowles to go, hey, screw your faith, come play at Ohio State. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? He already has, he's already brought in 2 of the top 15 linebackers in the nation in this recruiting class. He's brought in a pretty good safety. And I mean, yeah, I guess you can give Larry Johnson the credit, but at the end of the day, he is the defensive coordinator, and we got Justin Scott. And last time I checked, recruiting doesn't end until December. I mean, I don't know. It does suck not to get the kid. I mean, that's a 6'2" or 3", 230-pound high school linebacker. Come on. But I mean, hey.
Well, Larry was the reason Scott came. I don't think.
Yeah, well, I know that's why I said that's Larry Johnson's recruit. But at the end of the day, that he's gonna be playing. He's gonna be playing for Jim Knowles' defense. That's his system, not Larry's. So, hey, man, you get mad at James Laurinaitis. Get mad at James Laurinaitis too. I mean, it's a joint effort when you do recruiting. I just don't understand why you get mad at Jim Knowles when the kid points to his faith for the reason he didn't go to Ohio State. What are you supposed to do?
Well, all right. Well, Media Days is here, which means college football is coming. We're so close. I can taste it. I love it. And, more to come here. Garrison, I think one other thing to add too is let's get some feedback on Twitter now being X. And it seems like the platform's not changing. But if there are other social sites, whether it's Thread, I think we'll start to build out the Instagram as well too. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, man, we'll definitely do that. We love more fan interaction from everyone, so we can post on here. Give you guys some credit for hanging with us here, and thank you again. And Bryce, look forward to Media Days. Seeing what old Blackbeard's got to say, and the guy that sleeps in kids' houses. But yeah.
Quinn Nordine, baby, was worth every sleepover. All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you. Bye.